I feel like we're looking at my nose again. It's good to be home. Finn is happy to be home.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the last couple of weeks, poor baby, he has been stuck in the house. For those that I haven't talked to, my best friend and a few of you met her, Phyllis Gallagher, who is a retired practitioner, had a bilateral stroke a week and a half ago. So I have been, my entire trip down there was doing my work on the computer and then spending time taking care of her while also talking to Marcus and to Warren on a regular basis. So I'm very well versed in what's going on with them. So with Finn, oh my goodness, we got here and he went, Mom, and he ran around the yard in the dark because he was super excited, like, I made it! I made it! Because in the city, he's stuck with this little backyard. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're stuck in a little box, right? You're stuck in a little box and you're like, what's holding me back? What's holding me back? The only thing that's ever holding us back is ourselves. It's ourselves. We're going to talk today about the Holy Land being everywhere and about giving reverence for the earth and how that is a true glow up, right? And specifically, tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day.
Wow.
Tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how they honored the land, how they connected with spirit. We're going to talk about a few of things that their teachings have for us. But I want to go back to my time at our summer conference at Banff, in Banff, where we started our opening session with a Native elder. She came in and she talked to us about what it was like to be raised in the tribe. She talked to us about what it was like to have family that would talk about their experiences, but very carefully. Her mother's generation, her uncles, were the ones that were taken and put into special Christian schools. The white woman said, we need to convert you. We need to train your children in our ways. When we talk about this, we're standing on stolen land. That's what we're talking about. Stolen land, meaning we stole their traditions. We stole their ideas. We took that away from them. Children died in these schools. As I was walking in this morning, I was walking in with a woman and she looked Native to me. And so I asked, you have the facial structures of a Native person. Are you Native? And she said, I asked my parents that when I was a little girl. I was about 6 and they shut me down. They did not want to talk about it. She said, what she found interesting, she said she was from Arizona, where her grandmother lived on tribal land. But her family would not acknowledge for her and never have whether she is Native. Why might that be? There's some really deep wounds there. There's some really big fear there that our ancestors created. So when we as a society decided to change Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day, we then took a stand to honor the people that were here before us. To honor the people that were here before us. Specifically here on this land, the Northern Pomo. Right? The Pomo greeting is Chame. Can you say that? Chame. That's hello. Chame. Hello. What if we were to then greet our neighbors with Chame? I have friends that are Lakota from the reservations. And when I greet them, it's aho matakliasin, right? Aho matakliasin. I'm greeting you and all of your relatives. It's important that we honor that. I was lucky. When I was a little girl, I was a campfire girl. Anybody here was a campfire girl? Do you remember studying about the native land and studying about where we were? I remember we even the Wohelo was Wohelo work, health and love. Wohelo is one of the sayings, and that was actually based in Indian tradition. Wohelo. Right? We practiced that. We made sitting pads. We did crafts that in my area our native Ohlone tribe would do. We learned about that, which was really fun because as a little kid we were learning about it in school, right? But we only learned the fluffed up version of the Ohlone tribe. We didn't learn about the genocide. The Northern Pomo Indians, specifically the Noyo River Indian community, has been on this land for 14,000 years. That's 7,000 years BCE. 7,000 years before Christianity claimed their state. It's a lot of years. That's a lot of history. That's a lot of knowledge. And specifically in this area, they were known for their amazing basketry. I can say that word. They were known for their beautiful weavings. And other tribes would come out here to do all of their fishing, and the tribes would get together and they would celebrate the abundance of what they could gain from the ocean and the land together. They would share, they would trade. That sharing and trading actually continued on into my grandfather's time here on the coast, where he was always sharing and trading. Man, I grew up with some of the best fresh fish and abalone right out of the ocean. And people would bring over their venison or their elk or whatever it is that they were hunting inland to trade for what we could pull out of the sea. They would trade their crops for our crops. That's what the tribes were doing here. That's what the tribes are doing. Yesterday, I was at a meeting out in Coyote Valley, a conference, and I was looking at the agenda and I didn't see a land honoring of the land. And I thought, we're at an Indian casino, people. There needs to be an honoring of the land. I was ready to raise my hand and say, we need this. And while the welcoming group welcomed us, they did have somebody native from another tribe, and she did a welcoming, and she was really nervous. And during the break, I walked up to her and thanked her. And she said, oh, I wasn't gonna do it. Somebody asked me to, and I thought, oh, I don't want to upset people. I said, why? Why would you not want to upset people? Why? Sometimes we have to bring these things to light. We can't heal unless we are bringing these wounded parts to light. One of the grand things that one of my ministerial buddies says about ministers, we are here to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. Right? If you're comfortable sitting in your pile of doo-doo, the minister may point it out to you that you're starting to stink. Right? So yeah, it happens. So I want to read this to you. This is from Chief Seattle, a speech he did in December of 1854. He says, every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every meadow, every humming insect. All are holy in the memory and experience of my people. We love this earth as a newborn loves its mother's heartbeat. So, If we sell you our land, love it as we have loved it. Care for it as we have cared for it. Hold in your mind the memory of the land as it is when you receive it. Preserve the land for all children and love it as God loves us. As we are part of the land, you too are part of the land. This earth is precious to us. It is also precious to you. One thing we know, there is only one God. No man, be it red man or white man, can be apart. We are all brothers after all. He got it. He's speaking about exactly what we teach here in the Science of Mind. It's exactly what we teach here. We teach the practice of science of mind here at Centers for Spiritual Living, and we consciously align with the teachings to offer our transformational consciousness to the world. And we do that by honoring the simple things as easy as honoring the earth. We've all heard that saying, leave it cleaner than you found it, right? That's a part of that teaching. When's the last time you picked up a random piece of trash? Every day, right, right. Part of my COVID healing, from being separated from my tribe during COVID, was I got grabbers, and I would go out with a bag, and I would walk through my park every Tuesday, the park across the street from my house, and I would pick up trash. Because even though nobody was supposed to be outside at that moment, before we knew that we could, there was trash everywhere. Everywhere. And I noticed that as I was doing it, I was feeling more connected to the earth. I was honoring the earth that I walked on. So the science, in my point of view, is that the earth is designed to serve as a source of abundance to allow life to grow, evolve, and thrive. So by following the example set by the indigenous people, we can choose to honor our holy relationship with the land. Now, Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind says this. This is on page 91. He says, the combined intelligence of humankind could not create the life of a plant, yet the intelligence of the creative soil of the earth will produce as many for us as we ask. When we plant the seed of that which we wish to have created, we plant the seed for what it is that we want. Just like we plant the seed for the corn, expecting corn to grow. We plant the seed for what it is that we want. And for those of you that are gardeners, we nurture the seed. What happens when we plant the seed of negativity? What comes up? Negativity. If we plant the seed of love, what comes up? Love, right, right. So the first thing we do is we take responsibility. Here in the United States, we're experiencing a glow up as our country has begun to take the responsibility for the physical and cultural genocide of the indigenous people, the first Americans, right? A holiday once designated for the man who, quote, discovered America is now celebrated as Indigenous Peoples Day. He didn't discover America. Nope, he went south. The truth about Indian boarding schools is starting to come to light while the governments and religious organizations that were responsible for abusing thousands of First American children are attempting now to atone for their actions. You know, the first Americans Museum didn't open until 2021. Yeah. And it's the first first Smithsonian institution dedicated to honoring the first Americans. The cultural traditions of indigenous people center on honoring the spiritual nature of the earth. And today's theme, that quote, "The Holy Land is everywhere," that's from Black Elk. That's from Black Elk. Has anybody been to the, can't think of the name of the museum. There's a museum on Oahu where they show all of the information on the tribes. Shelly, what's the name of that museum? It's a American name, but you can go through there and really see what the native Hawaiians were doing. It's spectacular. If you have never seen a cape, a coat made out of feathers, small, tiny little feathers, the dedication to collect them over time and sew them together for their high holy people and their kings is amazing. They didn't spend time on their phones or watching the news or getting all riled up about what's going on in the world. They spent time quietly with themselves, with small community, gathering together to create something beautiful. The ultimate glow up also comes with recognizing the divinity in all life. Every step we take is on holy land. Every single step we take is on holy land. If you have ever had a chance to walk with the monks and nuns from Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching, they do a sacred walk. And that walk is literally very slowly noticing every muscle in your body moving as you slowly pick up one foot. Shift your balance and then lay it down where you notice every part of your foot laying down, shifting your balance. It's about honoring the earth and slowing yourself down so you can become present to what it is within. See, so many of us are focused on our to-do lists and responsibilities and that we forget that every experience is sacred. Every experience. For those of us in survival mode, it may even be more difficult to recognize the spiritual nature of life. And despite our challenges, we never need to look far to see and appreciate the miracle of life. The sun rises and it sets without fail. When it's hot inland, the fog comes in, never fails. Right? You've noticed. When the rain comes, the weeds start to grow up, as is the plants. I pulled in and my yard is green. I went, oh, it's green. Oh, it's weeds. Right? Honoring all that there is. You know, the natural world serves as proof that we're designed to break through the toughest obstacles. I've talked about this before, out in the parking lot. Look in the cracks and see what nature has coming up out of them. Notice those weeds that are coming up in the garden because they're not saying no, they're saying, hello, I'm here. And I've found a perfect spot I'm going to grow. So even as you weed your garden, celebrate them. Celebrate the weeds. It's okay. Willy Wonka sang a song. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. Right? So when we open our eyes to the truth that the Holy Land is everywhere, we can use pure imagination to appreciate the land and give the earth the reverence that it deserves. And when we're ready for that personal glow up, we can simply look to the plants for inspiration. We have plants here. You can just look at them for inspiration. I love that the spider plant back there is in bloom. It's in bloom, and it wasn't in bloom, but now it's in bloom, right? Our minds operate the same way as soil. When we plant the experience we desire, what do we get? And if we don't weed the thoughts that are fear, what do we get? More fear. More fear. If we water our minds with affirmations, we are going to receive exactly what we are setting ourselves up for. But if we walk around saying everything is terrible, I don't like this, I don't like that, then what's going to happen? You're going to get more of it. See, because the universe, the divine one doesn't hear the word don't. It doesn't hear the word not. It doesn't hear the word I don't like. I don't want this, not that. It doesn't. It doesn't differentiate. It just hears what you're saying. It just hears what you're saying. So if we pull the weeds of fear from our thoughts and we water our mind with the affirmations and feel the sunshine of spiritual connections, our dreams can take root and they can bear healthy fruit. For those of us struggling to survive, or those of us who are caught up in the busyness of life, connecting with nature is a wonderful way to ground ourselves. We can enjoy the fresh air. We can run our hands through the grass or let the sand run through our fingers, right? Hug a tree. When's the last time you hugged a tree? Cloud gazing is another one that can activate our imaginations and remind us that we're free from limitations. Yesterday on our drive home, my friend said, wow, look at that cloud up in front of us. It was dark. And I started to watch it as it moved and shifted and changed. Was it the rain? We don't know. We turned before we got to it, right? But what could that be? One of my favorite things to do is sit on my porch with my coffee and watch the fog roll in or out and see what is revealed. You all know that. You're sitting there and it's totally fogged in, and then the fog starts to wisp away for a moment and you can see, and then it comes back in again. Then it's like a whole new scene is just opened up in front of you, like theater curtains, right? So while the discussion about climate change is controversial, consider creating a dedicated space where you can honor the earth. There's this great book called Braiding Sweetgrass. Has anybody read it? It's fantastic. It's worth a book study if anybody wants to do that. Let me know. It is a great way to learn about indigenous wisdom applied to cultivate a loving relationship with the earth. It's written by an indigenous botanist, and the book blends science, spirituality, and ancient wisdom. So I want to close with this quote by my friend, Reverend Tammy Lambert. Reverend Tammy in 2024 was sworn in as a judge with the Hiklara Apache Nation Court. I know I said that wrong, but I know the Apache Nation Court part. She also serves on CSL's legal committee. And she is the one that keeps bringing us the information about how we can glow up, honoring the earth. She also is with Reverend Victoria Bomberry, PhD, whose PhD dissertation title is Indigenous Memory and Imagination, Thinking Beyond the Nation. And she too serves on our diversity committee with Centers for Spiritual Living. Honoring where the land that we're in, honoring our native people is honoring ourselves. Recognizing that the land we walk on was sacred land to other people 14,000 years ago can bring it back to being sacred. Taking care of the land that we have as our individual properties or as our town or as our county. It's honoring the tribes that were here before us. And so I invite you, as we're looking at Indigenous Peoples Day, to do that, to honor that. I also want to remind you that there is a Native Arts Expo at the end of this month down in Mendocino. I go every year and I don't always buy something. I try to. But just honoring the people, asking them what tribe they're from, asking them to share their story. They want to honor them, look at them in the eye and say, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Like I did this morning with this woman that looked like she was Native to me, asking and saying, even if you don't know, I want you to know that I honor the spirit that is in you. She gave me a great big hug as she walked in to get her coffee. And that's how we should be every day, honoring the spirit that is within each and every one of us. So let's pray together, shall we? So closing your eyes or dropping your gaze, whatever works for you. Just know that there is only one source, one power, one energy that moves in, through, and all around each and everything we can see, touch, taste, feel, hear. It is in the ground that we walk upon, this sacred ground. It is closer than hands and feet. It is that which grows our nails and our hair. It is that which digests any nourishment we put in our body. It is that pumps blood and oxygen through our veins. That energy, that source, that one thing that I choose to call God or divine or it with a capital I is love in action. Love in action. And when I align with it, I too am love in action. As we all align with it, we too are love in action. So as we align together with a deep breath in and grounding ourselves down as far into the earth as we possibly can, we are aligning with that wisdom of the planet that we stand upon, the wisdom of the planet that we have been entrusted with. And as we continue to breathe and we breathe in the essence of all of it, capital I, it, we know that we are a part of. We know that each person that is looking for a healing is receiving that healing, whether it be emotional, financial, physical. We know that our beloveds, Warren and Sev, that Marcus and Martha are all experiencing the healing that is required, as desired, and is welcomed. We know that that healing is already happening even before steps are taken, because we trust and know in that one source. We know for anyone who is feeling a lack of abundance, that we know for them that as they participate in the law of circulation, sharing with the places that feed them, that they are then experiencing more circulation in their life. We know anyone who is feeling a broken heart, could simply open their hearts to the divine and feel the love that is already within them. I'm knowing for each person in this room, for each person that's watching online, and for each person that hears my voice at a later date, that these things are all true for each one of us. There is no place where it stops and we start. We are a part of it. And as we honor it, as we honor the land, as we honor the water, the air, the dark, the sun, the moon, we honor ourselves. We take a moment in gratitude and honor those people that came before us, those people that walked this land, the ones that nurtured and loved it so that we can nurture and love it today. We sit in gratitude for all of the gifts that we have received so far in life and those that we are yet to receive. We plant the seed of affirmation and weed any seeds of fear, knowing that God's got us and that we can then take the choice to reach out and follow the path to divine, to divine knowing. And so gratitude, I release this prayer knowing that it is all true, that it is all true, and all my dreams, everything is waiting for me to come true to them. So I allow myself to come true. And I just simply ground this prayer and ask you to please join me in grounding it together by saying, and so it is. Thank you.